Hey, it's Mr. H again. Thank you for joining us for this version of LoboTalk, with our theme being navigating life. Life can be hard. Life can be great, but also life can throw you ups and downs. So as we close out today, we're going to close out with a little story about this young man. This young man born in the South Louisiana, Texas border. So there was this young man, born into a beautiful family, siblings, mother, and father. And life seems to be going great for about 3 years. And then suddenly, this young man loses both parents. One to a sudden death. His mother is now gone, and his father to an addiction he could not beat at that time. So this young man is now forced to try to navigate the ups and downs in life without parents. Luckily, his grandmother adopts him and raises him and his siblings. But through that, he still struggles with life's challenges behind closed doors. He sees everybody else with their parents, only to be reminded constantly his is no longer there. So this young man keeps navigating the roads of life. He's trying to figure out who's his identity. What does he get his looks from? Why is his personality that way? Why does he think this way? Why does he has certain talents? Because the people he would normally look up to is nowhere to be found. So as this young man is navigating life, there's good days, there's bad days, there's family drama, there's secrets happening in the home, there's secret acts of abuse happening in different situations, but this young man keeps navigating life. He finds a niche, he finds an outlet to start dealing with his pain and his depression. He starts playing sports, loving sports, enjoying it, enjoying the ups and the downs that sports can. He's with his friends, but again, every time this young man looked out into the stands, he's reminded all his main cheerleaders are not there except one. So this young man is navigating life trying to figure out, hey, he's becoming a young man. So what does he do? So he comes with a plan. Play sports, go to college, do what he loves doing, only for that to be suddenly taken away from him due to a tragic car accident. His sporting career is now gone due to a major back injury. He was only in high school, so now he is watching his lifelong dream of playing college ball go up in smoke, all simply because some people decided they didn't want to go to jail that day. So they were running from the cops. So now this man is trying to find his purpose. What do he do outside of sports? What is he good at besides playing sports? He realizes, he has a pretty good brain. So he keeps working and working and working. But again, he has no outlet. His outlet is now gone. He has no one around to try to teach him how to be a man. So he's trying to figure out how to be a man of integrity, how to be a good man, how to live life, how to transition from high school to college. Finally, this young man gets to his senior year. Seems like everything is falling in place, but a loved one becomes stricken to an addiction that he could not beat. So now this young man is now forced to give up almost every dream, to basically give up to have to help take care of family members. Money is gone. So now this young man is having to work. He's having to pay bills. He's being forced to be turned into an adult at the tender age of 16. He's having to cover bills in the house. He's now helping to take care of younger family members. So this young man, again, is trying to navigate his life, trying to figure out, hey, where do I go from here? Finally, he gets accepted into his dream college, and he moves to what is supposed to be the happiest day of his life, into the dorm room of his dream college to pursue his career in business law, only for that to last for 2 weeks, to get a phone call from the only parent he's ever known that, hey, something tragic is happening at home. So this young man drops everything, packs up his dorm room. With tears in his eyes, he gives up his dream once again to go home and to be there with the person who raised him, to be her protector, to be her defender, and eventually to be her healthcare provider as her body is now starting to fail her. So This young man found other outlets and other things to make him happy, and he's working and he's handling business. And again, he's navigating life because now he's in his 20s. And again, trying to figure out why every time he pursues his purpose in life, something happens. Why every time he has, a high road, something happens and he's brought so low. This young man is asking himself questions. Why has he given up so much in life, only to seem to have gained so little back? So as this young man is navigating life, he's pushing through. He's battling depression. He's battling his own addictions. He's battling things because he never found a way to deal with the pain of his past. He never found a way to deal with, hey, why wasn't dad not there? Hey, why did he have to lose his mom at such a young age? So this young man is pushing and he's pushing and he's pushing. And then he hits rock bottom. He hits a low point. When he finally seems to be navigating life, the thriving force in his life, the major voice in his life, is now taking her last breath. He doesn't know what to do. He's never lived a life outside of his grandmother who raised him. The voice that kept telling him, hey, don't quit. The voice that kept telling him, hey, I believe in you. The voice that made him believe he can do anything is now no more. So this young man who seems to have, been starting to do well in life hits rock bottom. He ends up homeless, jobless, carless, sleeping from place to place, trying to find food to eat, all because he hit a place of depression where he had given up on the will to live. It seems like life was getting ready to be over for this young man. However, on one day he was sitting at a family event, and his 4-year-old niece climbs into his lap, wipes the tears from his eyes and says, hey, it's gonna be okay. You can do this. You just gotta keep fighting. And it would seem so insignificant that a 4-year-old would have something to say to an adult. But those words alone turned his life around. The young man starts to remember, yes, he can do it. Yes, he can bounce back from tragedy. And he begins to remember, if he bounced back from tragedy of life before, he can do it again. So this young man leaves the house and he is determined he's not coming back until he has a job. This young man comes back with a job. Not the greatest job, but a job. He gets a little piece of a car, gets him from point A to point B. He gets an apartment. And then he gets a better job. Then he goes back to school and starts pursuing his career again. Then he gets a better job, a better car. Eventually, this young man now has a house, multiple cars, multiple streams of income, and everything seems to be going good. So he switched careers, and now he's in education, and he's teaching and coaching. But just like life, tragedy happens again. He loses multiple family members back to back. But not only that, while life is still going and he's navigating life, a flood happens. And this young man has lost almost everything he has worked to regain. So what does he do from there? He remembered the words of his 4-year-old niece. You can do it. So he continued pushing because he learned that life is like a Uno game. You never know what cards life is going to deal you. Sometimes life will reject you. Sometimes life will skip over you, and it seems like everybody else is living the dream that you want to live, and life has forgotten about you. Sometimes you'll be up and almost ready to win, and then you're hit with that draw 4. This was a moment in this young man's life that he's been skipped, he's been reversed, and it seems like he was finally winning, and then life hits him with a draw 4. He loses family members. Now he has lost his house, cars, his clothes, and he has to start all over. Anyone else probably would have just gave up, but this young man, resilient, kept fighting, kept pushing. So he finds an apartment, and he's determined he's not going to quit. So this young man keeps pushing. He goes back to the classroom, continues teaching, continues doing the things he loves, only to determine, you know what? Maybe all this happened for a reason. Maybe there's a purpose behind all this happening. Maybe there's a purpose behind the pain. So this young man is determined he's going to fight for everything he wants and desires out of life. So while navigating the tough roads of regaining everything he lost, this young man packs everything he owns into a truck and moves into a city called Buda, where he's now staying with friends, and he starts working for a neighboring school district. And he does that for a little bit, and then he moves into his own place in a city called Kyle, Texas. And this young man is working in education, but he's still not doing exactly what he loves to do. Then, would you believe it, that the pandemic happens? He loses some more loved ones. He finds out himself he's having health issues. And again, this young man is determined, no matter what it is, he will not give up. He's going to keep playing the game. He's going to keep playing the game that life is dealing to him. He's going to play the cards that life has dealt. Only for one day, this young man to walk into the doors of Lehman High School, to sit in the office in a position that he enjoyed, but ultimately for a door to open for him to go back to what he loves doing, teaching, educating, and mentoring. And now this young man is realizing, you know what? What life taught him is worth it. Life, whether good or bad, there's lessons in everything. So this young man becomes a teacher at Lehman High School. In fact, some of you may know him well. You see him quite often. He's around the building a lot. So he becomes the host of Lehman's LoboTalk, where he discusses issues, where he hopes to help students that may be trying to navigate the difficult waters of life like him, to let them know, hey, don't fold, don't throw the cards down, keep going. You never know what life is going to deal you. You'll be rejected sometimes. Sometimes you'll be skipped over. Sometimes it seems like you have the winning hand and then they hit you with a draw 4 and another draw 4. But it's up to you. There's no manual on how to live life, but there's 2 choices you can make. You can either live the life you have, or you can let the life you have live you. So that young man is determined. He's going to live life. Navigating life is not easy. There's a purpose behind it all. Find the purpose and live life. Thank you for joining me on LoboTalk. See you next time.